Ah!
Did we get your attention? You got to put a hook in there, right? Get you to watch for more than 3.5 seconds.
Welcome back to SeerNova Podcast, episode 127. We actually have two guests today. March, we had a bunch of guests on each episode, except Jason's episode, because he's special. But we released that this month because of how scheduling and all that stuff happened. So this is the first episode back since we've done our first convention. Like we actually did a convention and we sold things, so that was pretty cool.
It was pretty
We sold
awesome.
9 things.
Yeah, we sold 8 comic books and a magnet. And
Yeah,
we did it in a castle,
to the castle.
an actual castle.
Very fancy castle. Very fancy.
Yeah.
Well,
If anybody wants to look it up, it's called Paine Castle, Paine. It's in Troy, New York. It's a beautiful place, but basically some rich dude built it years ago, and now it's owned by a foundation, and they rent it out to people who want to sell 8 comic books in a magnet. Yeah, so we were excited because that was our first convention. We had Greg. I just realized, can you pull the picture up? Can you showcase the picture?
Which one?
The one with us behind the table.
Oh, I would have to find it.
Yeah, you find that while I keep talking. So yeah, we ended up getting a what's it called? Those retractable banners. We got that printed up by Comics Wellsprings. We were really worried we weren't going to get it in time. They literally got it to us the day before, so they definitely are true to their word on the fast shipping if you paid the extra for it. But it was worth it. We got it. It was exciting. Yeah, that's definitely our fault for ordering it so late. We're like, oh yeah, it's like 2 weeks from now. We got to order it yesterday. So, yeah, they were very, very grateful for that. They definitely helped with that. And because of their sponsorship from our virtual Comic-Con, we were able to get that and not break the banks, which that was pretty cool. And let's see. Oh yeah, and then because this was a smaller event, we were actually the only vendor there that was,
Well, we were supposed to be a second.
Well, technically, there's supposed to be two vendors, but in all reality, we were the only vendors those selling comic books. The other vendor was actually there for the main event. So the main event was a D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, and basically they got to play D&D in a castle, which is kind of awesome. And Greg's friend set up the whole event. If you want to look up the event later, it's called Upstate New York Tabletop Convention. And this was their first annual one. He wanted a proof of concept, and he hopes on doing multiple. I know I'm saying first annual, like, they've done more than one yet, but, I think you can call it annual after 3. I think that's what you can do. That's like the rule. It's like, okay, they're trying. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, so it was very cool. They put that on. We got to set up a whole table. We had a 6-foot table, and when we showed up, it was still in the car. They're like, oh, do you need the table? We're like, oh yeah, what table you got? So do you want 6 foot or 8 foot? We're like, we'll take the 8 foot. So yeah, we took the 8-foot table. We they had a white cloth to fill the whole thing, which was gorgeous. And then because my family happens to live in upstate New York and in Troy, New York, like 7 minutes from the event, I got a bunch of stuff from them. We got a red tablecloth to lay on top of it. It looked gorgeous. We had all our comic books lined up in a row. We had all of our prints and what's it called? Their magnets and stickers and all that stuff all laid out. It looked gorgeous. Do you have the picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, pull that up. Look at this. Yeah, and then behind us you can see there's a bookshelf, and like I said, this is a castle. That bookshelf is built into the wall. Like they cut out the framing and they build the design right into the wall. It's got books in there from like the 1800s, and then you can see up top we got our what's it called? Chronicles of Horror. What's it called? Issue 2 and the variant cover and a couple of prints. We've got all our comic books laid out there. And you can see up front, that's all the comic books that we have, plus one variant cover in there. And then we've got our shirt laid out. We've got all the trading cards, and we've got, of course, got our banner to the right, which looks epic. So it was definitely a really cool experience. We got to, meet some new people. We got to obviously get some great photos. There's Greg right after we opened the banner. We pulled up the banner again so they can see it, because the banner's kind of partially hidden in the first one. Yeah, look at that.
So there is a character that's on there that hasn't shown up yet, but it's the guy in the middle. That's Cyper. So that, a couple years from now, Alpha will be out.
Yeah, I like how he's front and center too. Like he's it kind of just worked perfect too, because we've got all of our comics kind of like circling towards that center comic, and it's not like he's gonna be like the primary.
He does. He's like a mentor for another character though later on. So
yeah, who's also cool. Very important.
Yeah. So, but I'm probably gonna get another banner at some point for like our podcast and stuff. But yeah, so.
And now I've got my French press.
Oh, you're fancy. Yeah. So we sold a couple things. It was our first ever con, and
we played the long con. It was fucking. How long was that?
Like
it was like.
hours.
Is it 15 hours? That you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, it was extremely long. It started at, was it 8 a.m. we got there?
Yeah, it was like 14 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 8 a.m. we got there, and then we were there all the way.
Oh, no, it was 15 because it technically ended at like
11 p.m.
Yeah.
No, they like started calling the tables at like 10:30, but like the people started leaving right around 11, and we were packing up trying to get out of there. Yeah, it was awesome.
It was exhausting though, being like just there that long and one day.
Well, that we parked 2 blocks away from the place, and of course we had this giant box of all of our stuff, trying to carry that, and then Greg was carrying the comics under each of his arms, and then of course you have to go up like 2 flights of stairs. Yeah,
and then one of the straps on the things that the comics are in, those bins are not apparently made to like go everywhere. So
I feel like they're not meant to like carry an entire stack of comics.
Yeah, it's like for storage or something. Yeah, so we're gonna figure something else out. We're hoping to do another convention in June. A couple of variables at play. Why that might not happen, but we'll see. So that was our little con thing. I did a live stream earlier in the week with JR, who is the artist for Mittens.
Damn, I just realized that we didn't do a live stream while we were there.
Yeah.
I'm just now realizing that. We were like so excited by the place itself. Right before you get to Mittens, I was going to say one thing for any comic creators out there, like definitely don't try to just go to like San Diego Comic-Con as your first convention, tabling. Like go to these smaller ones. Like it was much more intimate. We got to talk with a lot more people. And like I said a minute ago, like we got a ton of great photos of us that we can use for marketing material. And, the second we posted that we were at a convention like that was probably like our most engaged, piece of content in a while. So it is one of those things where if people like to see people, and they especially like to see people, working hard towards something. So, that take advantage of the smaller conventions, network with people. One of the things that did kind of suck, like Greg was saying, we were supposed to be the second vendor there. The first vendor was actually a local comic shop, which, like, if you think about it, if you go to a small convention, you're probably going to find local comic shops there. So it, as long as they're able to show up, it's a great way to network and connect with, small people or smaller businesses like that. And so, yeah, definitely it was an awesome experience. Looking forward to future ones.
So I did a live stream earlier in the week, like Tuesday or Wednesday with JR. We talked about the anthology that I'm actually I have a story in. It's called Hunger. But the whole anthology is called Punctroid. My story is like Twilight Zone and Black Mirror, but not all the stories are like that, because Christian, that is the person from Unpopular Tale Studio, said not
Christian Douglas?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he made it a sure thing that it's not all Black Mirror and stuff, because some people don't know what Black Mirror or Twilight Zone is. It's like, I think everybody should know what Twilight Zone is. There's a couple other stories in there that they're nothing like that, and they actually have heart and stuff like that. Mine doesn't. It's pretty creepy, and actually, like, I created it off of all of those debates that I've seen on Facebook and Twitter and stuff of AI art and stuff, and where does it all come from. So I did a Twilight Zone spin from that. But another thing we talked about on the stream, besides Punk Droid, was, which you can back by clicking the link in the description, is Mittens. And Mittens 1 did amazing, like, at our convention. And Mittens 2 is coming in July at some point. Me and Josh are going to have a meeting this coming week about all that stuff. I've started creating a Kickstarter for it. It's basically, it just needs graphics and stuff and a trailer. But I did write down like what is going to go where on the story, because I kind of like do a rough draft of like what the Kickstarter page is going to look like. So these are a couple of pages that are from issue 2, and there's a couple new characters in there. There's this other pug character. He's not the same pug character from issue 1, but he is.
I like his bone staff.
Yeah. And he first knocks him out because he's a cat. Now there's like a reason behind that. This whole new city it's a brand new thing for Mittens, and he's never been there. It's a whole new planet. And that's a little spoiler. So if you didn't read the first one, maybe read the first one. But he did crash down onto this planet, and now he's got to figure out a way to get off the planet. And there's a couple things that happen before that actually does happen. So we have guests, and we're going to bring them on. One of them's here right now. I think the other one is getting ready to show up. But here's the first one. Here's Frank.
Hello.
Hey.
Bonjour.
I am here.
I am here.
Who's that from?
All Might.
Somebody watches My Hero Academia because I am here.
I love that show. I just watched the most recently dubbed episodes because they're still. They just finished as a season 5 dub, so they got to do season 6. I love that show. I think that's personally one of like the greatest animes creations. Like if you watch that whole series and don't get teary-eyed once, like you don't have a soul. Like it's such a good storytelling arc. What's up, Todd?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hello.
Hey.
Does Todd watch My Hero Academia?
Do I watch? No.
I haven't seen it yet either. We do want to watch it.
I haven't seen. I've seen all episodes season 5, but I haven't seen any of season 6. Even though season 6 is on Hulu, but it's not dubbed yet. So
same.
But
I don't mind that, but it's like because I'm already so far into it, I don't want to switch it because the characters will feel different with the different voice actors.
Exactly.
Like, I tried to do that with Dragon Ball Super. Like I got 60 episodes into the dubbed before they finished dubbing it. And then all of a sudden, I had to wait forever. And I'm like, I don't want to watch it in Japanese now because it's like I've already gotten so far. Like,
yeah.
That's like with One Piece for me. Like I'm catching up on that. So
that's going to take a long time to catch up on because that is a very long running show.
Yeah,
I watched it like the first 10 episodes. I was like, this going to take a long time to watch this. So I was like, okay, I'm back up on this a little bit.
If you ever do want to watch One Piece, there's I think there's like a website you can look this up, but like you can skip like 40% of the episode playtime because there's like the beginning of the episode, the end of the episode where it's like recap, what's on the next episode. Every like 8th episode is literally just a rehash of everything you already watched. Like literally the first time I ever watched One Piece, my brother was on episode like 800 and something, and or 700 and something, I think. And he basically, while an episode's playing, he's explaining all the stuff that happened before. And the very next episode, it did a walkthrough of everything that's happened throughout the entire show, and that was the whole episode. and it's like, oh, all the stuff I just explained, they just showed you just now. Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, if you watch it in a row, like if you were watching it as it was coming out, like, yeah, that would have been painful to watch all that. But if you're watching it and like you're binging it, like you can like cut out like, you know, a day's worth of playtime, you know. Yeah.
Well, I know My Hero Academia does that too, but just a little bit. I mean, it's a tiny bit to begin, a tiny bit.
Not even close compared to One Piece. But that's because One Piece is so long that if you did watch it episode to episode, they'll be like, "Hey, I know it's been 8 years and 450 episodes, but remember this thing that we showed you?"
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. No, My Hero Academia's got a great pace. It moves. Mm-hmm. I feel like it moves a little bit quicker in time, where like One Piece feels like every episode's a day, like it literally is progressing day by day over the only like a 2-3 year time span.
Mm-hmm.
I would go old school. I watched, of course, speaking like anime stuff, but Initial D. So like that's
I don't even know that name. Say the name.
Initial D. Like
Initial D.
Initial D. It's a late 90s, early 2000s car anime where they do like drift racing.
Mm-hmm.
In a car nerd. So
that looks familiar.
Did you ever hear of Battlestar Galactica? I'm sorry, not Battle of the Planets.
Yeah.
Or there's another one that was very similar to that one. There's Battle of the Planets, and I can't remember the name of it, but they're like late 70s, early 80s anime.
Yeah.
And that's how I got introduced to anime.
Yeah, see, dude, it's awesome. I was talking about that with my brother. Like, the thing that made that anime back then so good, I thought about it. Like, aside from the storytelling was phenomenal back then.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing that I noticed was the intricate detail to the irrelevant things. So, like, they have backgrounds to certain episodes where they draw a city in immense detail, and you literally never go to that city.
Star Blazers. That was it. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Saw that aha moment.
Our Star Blazers. Some of that song has always stuck in my head for years.
Mm-hmm. Star Blazers. Space Ghost.
Yeah, never seen those. And I don't watch that much anime, but
yeah.
Well, I'm a big cartoon nut. I like animation and cartoons, not just anime, but I like cartoons as well. I just got through watching the Owl House, and when I was on live for my, I think it was yesterday on YouTube and TikTok and stuff, people start talking about the Owl House because that just ended, and that's a phenomenal show too. So, but that's a Disney show.
Yeah.
with very good ending. I love it when a show, even though it's ending, I love it when they stick the landing and they actually have a really good ending. Because that tells everything about the show there. Because there've been a lot of shows that like that's you're giving me too many questions here.
Yeah,
So,
I was gonna say with anime, like I think the reason why I like it too is like the storytelling I just think is better, and like the character building is better. I feel like a lot of American cartoons kind of lack that, and that's why like the My Hero Academia, like if you're a storyteller at all, watch that show, because even if it's just to like analyze what they're doing, they move so well through character arcs for villains, for heroes, for again side characters. Like they go so in depth with people that like if something were to ever happen, you'd feel devastated because you're like too much. Like it's like I'm so involved in all of these characters. So yeah, it's definitely
from the very beginning. That show hooked me because the All Might character, he's big, he's like Superman, but you see he's vulnerable. He got hit. And he only has so much time left, and it gets less and less and less as the show progresses.
Yeah, I love that. It literally starts off with the greatest hero losing his power, essentially, right? And it's like, so yeah, it's an excellent, and like the little speeches he gives every once in a while, like those are the ones where you get teary eyed. Like it's just like, oh damn, like that's like that's a show you want your kids to watch because it teaches like such great lessons. Like it's incredible.
And even though it's more made for a more teen audience, because like I said, some people broke their fingers and stuff. So he's trying to, and occasionally there's some blood here and there, but not very often. Or that one guy who actually has to taste blood to, have a.
Oh, the chick, the chick that like cuts people and stores the blood,
What?
So it's definitely more of a teen audience, but still it's good.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey.
episode 127. Frank James Bailey.
Hello.
And Todd Rayner.
Hello.
We're all just going to call him British.
This
Talk in different voices if you want. I have no idea what to talk like this. We can talk like this if you want. I don't care. Right, sorry.
We got the voice actor here. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
So, we know who you are, but people listening and watching might not. So, let's talk to Todd first and then Frank. So, who are you and what do you do?
I am a male, likes long walks on the beach, creator of Ice Pick and Dark Space Studios, and creator of Annabelle and soon to be Luke. It's a trilogy of characters that started out in Ice Pick. Had 4 issues of Ice Pick out, and then I'm launching Annabelle next, actually this Saturday. So yeah.
Cool.
Nice. And Frank.
Oh, me? Okay. I'm on now? Okay. My name is Frank James Bailey. I am a voice actor. I was in radio for 20 years. Then I started doing voice acting stuff. Most of the stuff I do is like radio, TV commercials, podcasts, homage, book trailers, that kind of stuff. You ever hear that line between the radio station songs? It's like Rock 105. You know, I do that kind of stuff. I've done internet videos. I haven't done a whole lot of animation work or cartoon work, but I would love to if you desire me. Anyway, I created the Turkana comic book series. It's basically I call it a comic for all ages. This is comic number 1. I'm currently running a Kickstarter for comic number 7. But yeah, so it's the 7th comic in the series. The Kickstarter, obviously, it's on Kickstarter.com. What I did with the Kickstarter, I actually posted a bunch of all the characters. So this so people can find out all about the characters. In case somebody didn't know anything about my Turkana stuff, they can actually introduce to all the characters there. And of course, I also, which has nothing to do with Turkana and the Kickstarter, but I also wrote another book. This is a romantic comedy novel called The Taming of April. It's just, I call it, this is kind of like for adults. If it was a movie, it'd be rated R. So it got something. Well, when I went to Cleveland a few weeks ago to Comic-Con, I was, I had said, okay, listen, this is for the kids or old ages, and this is for the adults. You'd be surprised how some people go, wait a minute, I got kids, but what's that all about? So
Yeah.
then I tell them, the tagline for that one is like, can a wild girl find true love? And he's kind of promiscuous and wild, and the whole point is, that one's more for adults, and the Kickstarter is for the comics and for the all age stuff. So, and that's me in a nutshell.
Cool.
So I got episode 1 and episode 7. We just skipped 2 through 6.
Well, I can tell you more about it if you want me to, but it's like, I figure we got so much time here.
Yeah, we'll probably get back to it, but that's funny.
So, question numero 1. So, what do you hope readers or listeners take away from your creations? So, we'll start with Todd and then do Frank.
I just hope they enjoy it. I always tell people when I do, it's kind of a, it started out as a throwback to 90s superhero comics. That's what I grew up on. So that is, if I had to give it a rating, I'd probably say PG-13 to rated R. It's not too bad over the top, but it's just a lot of action and fun, mystery, revenge type of stuff. But I'm a selfish kind of artist writer. I do it for myself, and then kind of people like it, so I keep doing it because they keep liking it, and supporting me. So it's just that cycle. I enjoy what I do. It's a nice little hobby, part-time thing, but I just really hope they enjoy it, and come back for more. It's pretty simple.
That's a good thing too. Like if you write for yourself, you've always got at least an audience of one. If you try to write for like what you think people want, you know what I mean? Like you might not get anything. So it's always good to write for yourself.
And that keeps me away from by writing that way, it keeps me focused more on the characters and stuff, but there's all that outside noise that you don't have to worry about, right? Because you're not trying to appease this group or that group or this crowd or whatever, it's just like, this is a story, love it or hate it, here it is,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Frank, what about your creations?
Okay, with Turkana, it basically started off as when my daughter was 7. She said, "Daddy, I don't like princesses anymore. I like superheroes." So that's kind of all started. So it was more or less a homage to her. And she kind of liked Kim Possible at the time, but she didn't like one with the crop tops. So that girl there, the girl with the long blue hair, she wears a full-on bodysuit, and then her friend wears crop tops and stuff. And so I really want list. We were talking about My Hero Academia a little while ago, and I kind of wanted to be something like that. I wanted to be a serialized, story going from one thing to another. And like every now and then, you have a story, an issue where you get more focus on the one particular character and not the actual story. Like this is comic 1. It's like, who is Thea Beaumont? You got to figure out who this Thea Beaumont person is. But then the second one is more or less about Brittany and kind of more about her. The third and fourth one is about the Thea Beaumont story again. But the fifth one is about Brittany again and her, because she's a lesbian. We don't find out until like number 5. But then number 6 is going back to the story again. And number 7 is about more Turkana. She can't save everyone. I mean, she goes into a fire trying to save somebody. And she does save somebody, but she didn't save everybody. I mean, not every superhero can save everybody. How's that going to affect her? So that's cool. To me, it's good storytelling. That's what I want. And the thing is, I'm not an artist, so I hire artists. I want to be on making the story and making better characters and that kind of stuff. And again, off that for a second, this one, The Taming of April, basically is kind of similar to a girl that I knew back in the early 2000s. And I wrote into a screenplay, and I thought, it's not about her. It's just a lot of things that I took that I did with her, I put in the book, but it's not about her.
So it's a memoir.
I don't know if that was phrased the best way.
We were just friends, and one time she was so drunk that she wanted, can you pick me up? So, I went over there at this bar, and she was so drunk, I literally had to pick her up, and I put that at the end of the book. It's like, okay, this guy, he's her friend, and she literally has to pick her up out of the, whatever, and take her home because and that, again, little things that I did with that girl, I kind of put in the character of the guy, but I'm not the guy, and the girl is not the girl, but it's little things I put in my head that put into there. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
You guys seem entertained. You're laughing, so that's good.
Yeah.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
Go ahead, Frank.
Okay. I would probably pick not teleportation, because you can go anywhere, and almost do anything. But with her powers, hers are kind of like the Green Lanterns, and they come out as like, electricity, kind of like static shock, but they form into things. And the bigger it is, the faster it disappears. The longer, the smaller it is, the longer it stays. So even though she has a unique power, if I were to pick a power that I would want to be, for me, I'd probably pick teleportation, because you can go somewhere without, real quick.
Paris.
I don't know. I never really thought about it too much, but probably pick one of the 3 from any of those guys behind me. I do kind of like the healing longevity of Wolverine, but the fun spidery kind of stuff, Spider-Man, and obviously, the richness of Bruce Wayne. I think that's a superpower.
That's a superpower.
I mean, I wouldn't mind that.
Then it was a bad.
But yeah. I mean, any of those, I guess. I just kind of, I don't know. I never really gave it much thought.
Well,
Yeah,
to
I
become
like
Batman, your parents have to die, so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I might be okay with that. I mean, look, I'm not young. I'm not like 8 or 9, right? I'm old now. So my parents are, they lived a pretty good life. Sorry.
They lived a long enough life for me to be a billionaire Batman.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure if I told her that, she would be okay, right? She'd understand.
Nice. I definitely like the healing. I would say probably flying or healing. Like if I can only pick one, like I can't pick like a combination of anything. Because like even Spider-Man, like I feel like he's got multiple, like that's kind of like, he's got some Like, although I think that the issue with the Spider-Man one, it's like you got to be so careful. Like, you accidentally want to punch your friend's shoulder because you're like, "Hey, good job," and like you blow his arm off because like I think I remember reading that too. It's like he has to hold back 10% while fighting people or kill them. It's like Jesus. Like, imagine you're just toying around with your friend and you're like, "Bam!" Like, whoops. Oh man, that sucks. So like, yeah, the super strength one's a bit finicky, but I definitely like the idea of being able to heal. You won't get sick, stuff like that. And then I'd have a lot longer to read books. That'd be it. Well, Greg, what's Greg's superpower? Skipping on to the next question.
I don't know. See, like teleportation, I feel like there would be some kind of mistakes with that. I don't know. It's not like a machine, though. It's not like the Fly, so it's not like. So I don't know. That would be kind of cool because I've always I hate driving, so I could just teleport to the grocery store to get groceries.
Hold 3 jobs back to back.
If you're gonna have it teleport, you have to have some sort of rules to it too. There's a TV show or a cartoon called She-Ra and the Princess of Power, and I think one of the other characters, Glimmer, she could teleport, but she can only teleport so far. So yeah, if you're gonna have that, there has to be some sort of limits to it too.
Yeah.
There's one I remember called, I think it's Jumper, maybe, where they have to see
Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, they have to see the place. So if you buy a postcard, then you could teleport someplace, but you have to be able to visually see where you're going. But the limitation on that is what if you go to teleport someplace that you can see, but it turns out there's a building there now.
Yeah,
you explode the second you appear, right?
Yeah.
So so that's why I like stuff like teleportation. I'd be cautious about, but the healing's just a universal thing. I could keep doing exactly what I'm doing now, get stronger than I could ever get, live longer, right? Don't get sick, do stupid stuff knowing I'll be fine. Of course I'll try a 360 kickflip off of a building and see if I can make it. Why not? I'll be fine.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so I don't know, maybe teleportation, but we have a character that can teleport, but he does have limitations because he can't go to Paris or something and I'm gonna snap everybody that's that's weird.
It's a bad guy is referring to in case.
Yes.
Okay. It's no, that's Greg's dream. All right, now you go to the next question.
There you go.
What challenges do you face when creating your comics?
Well, with me, I'm not an artist, so I have to sort of visually figure out exactly what I want to say, and then give it to my artist to actually, hey, have the character face this way. Have these two characters should be switched. That's the biggest challenges for me since I'm not an artist. I can't draw it. But yeah, and I've been working with the same artist since 2016, so he generally has it done now. It's that's what you want. Okay. It's very rare that we kind of don't hit the same level. For the most part, that's the biggest challenge for me is making sure my artist understands what I'm trying to do when I write the comic.
Yeah. That's a really good lesson. I would definitely say for creators out there, don't just pick one artist and stick with them, but if you find one that you like, stick with them long term because that connection there, you can't fake that, being able to do that for several years and then be hey, I want it like this. Oh, I know exactly what you mean, right? Saves a lot of time, a lot of frustration.
Now, when you're done with this, I have an interesting question for you guys since we're talking about art, but go ahead, have him answer it first.
It's kind of a 2-part answer for me because when I did Ice Pick, I did all 4 issues myself, wrote, draw, color, letter, published the whole 9. And there was a lot of challenges in those different levels of creating that character and book. Being a good artist is part of it, being consistent as an artist, as a writer, trying to make sure there's no plot holes or minimize those because, fans are going to see that and pick it apart. And, no one's perfect, but, learning to letter as serviceable kind of lettering, where you're definitely, you're not professional, but you're not super, amateur, just finding that happy medium to produce a quality book. For Annabelle, I decided to actually hire an art team, like Frank. And I said, hey, let's do it. I got hooked up with a publisher. He found the artist, and I ended up finding the inker and colorist, and I'm still going to letter it. And you're right. There's challenges working with other artists, and even inkers where the pencils are loosely laid in and it looks good. The inker comes in and you're like, he interpreted that to be a shadow, so he filled it in black versus doing any kind of cross-hatching rendering. So you do kind of work with it, and there is that little bit of back and forth, like, I need more space for word balloons, right, in this panel. So can we just adjust it so they're further away, or maybe they're closer, or different angles? Like if one character starts talking on the left-hand side of the panel, but you need the other character to start the word balloon. So, there's that back and forth of just kind of being an editor loosely, but getting what's in your brain translated to them so they understand how it should work. But it's still fun. I mean, I still really enjoy it, even with challenges. It's still a lot of fun.
So, something you said made me think of a really funny superpower: the ability to open or close plot holes.
There you go. Yeah.
Like that would be such a funny thing. I was actually just thinking about, like, if there was a comic book. Like, now I'm really trying to lay wrap my mind around this. Like you're reading the story and then suddenly it doesn't make any sense, and all of a sudden, like near the end of the comic, you see somebody in the background like writing, and like it zooms in on it, and it's like the script of the comic, and he's like intentionally breaking the story so people are confused. And then, of course, when you go to see, crappy movies, you can be like, this doesn't make any sense. Fix it.
Yeah.